Let's customize your car by sewing a new steering wheel cover. You gotta get 2 measurements of the entire outside of the steering wheel and around the handle. But then we're gonna do a tiny bit of math for our seam allowances, add a 1/2 inch to the long measurement, and add 1.5 inch to the shorter measurement. The fabric you're using might not be long enough, so you might gotta add just a little bit to it. As you can see, that's what I had to do. Then take your 2 end pieces, put them right sides together, and sew a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Now we're gonna take the edges of our circle and turn those edges in 3/4 inch and fold them in once more, just a little bit, about 1/4 inch, so that they don't fray. To be honest, pinning all of this was the longest part of the project. Make sure to leave an opening on both sides to put your elastic through, take it to your sewing machine, and sew 1/4 inch on both sides. Now we just gotta make the scrunchy part of our steering wheel cover, put the elastic through with a safety pin. I also have a hack. If you don't want to use like a whole bolt like I'm using, and you don't want to lose your elastic while you're doing this, keep a lookout for a video where I show you just a very simple trick you can do to not lose it. Sew down your elastic when you get it all the way through, and then work on the other side. I know the elastic can be kind of small and tricky when you put it in the sewing machine, so what I do is I drop my needle down first, put 1 stitch in, lift up my needle on my presser foot, and I put another stitch in starting at the top. I do that instead of back stitching. Once you're done with the elastic, you just gotta sew it all back up. So that I don't accidentally sew over the elastic, I pin it in place to move it out of the way, fold the edges over like we did before, and sew, and then we're done. You can now test out your new cover for your steering wheel. Happy sewing!